Okay, I started life as a corporate financier, and that's that's when I got introduced to kind of Brookson. So Brookson was my first transaction where they were kind of buying out their partners, and that was way back in 2001. Okay, then it kind of moved forward, kind of 4 years, still working corporate finance. Brookson had done an amazing job of kind of growing the business, highly successful, very high growth. They came to sell the business to a private equity firm. I was advising on that. We spent a year kind of working on that deal. At the end of that deal, the shareholders decided they didn't want to go ahead. So there was a year's worth of
occupational hazard.
Yeah, an occupational hazard. So the deal wasn't going ahead. But you know what? I was so inspired by what was going on at Brookson, the people there, that I actually approached them and said, "Listen, I want to come and join your business. I want to move out of corporate finance. I enjoyed doing the advice, but I really wanted to be part of something and build something." So I had a great relationship with the shareholders, and they kind of found a role for me. I was coming into the business to make sure that when they kind of went to kind of sell again, it was in the correct shape strategically. So I came in as a strategic director to make sure we had a strategy, kind of maximizing profit, all that good stuff. So I'd say arguably a bit of a vanity role, a bit of an unusual role, but they could afford it because it was just such a kind of high growth, successful kind of business. But then 3 months after me joining, the world got turned on its head. Kind of legislation came in that fundamentally changed the business model. So we had to kind of move from a very predictable payroll model to suddenly we had kind of contractors working through their own limited companies that all were working independently and behaving in a different way. So we recognized that actually the solution for that, data was at the heart of that. We had to get a bank feeds in from all their kind of bank accounts in order to see what was going on, in order to do the accounting. So we effectively got links to the banks and did open banking. And this is in 2006. Kind of years before open banking came out, we had those feeds. So we knew that data was key to get in and be the kind of lifeblood of us being able to provide a profitable and so systemized service.
Really, so full disclosure, Brian and I worked together for this 15, 16, 17 year period as well. So I guess the really interesting part of this story is a corporate finance background. And we'll touch on that in a second, because I think there's some really interesting skills that you brought during that, though. To crisis survival mode, you actually pivoted your career based on the need of a business. So from corporate finance, you became a technologist through that period in time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was when my role changed to solving problems, redesigning processes, and the accountancy and the corporate finance a background was kind of helpful. But this was new, so I became more kind of operational focused. I moved into an ops role. It was no longer thinking about corporate finance and selling the business. That was going to way in the future. We had to kind of reinvent the kind of the business model. And then what was kind of really exciting is once we'd kind of been through this this change, we knew that technology was going to be the answer to be able to kind of deal with the variability, and I was given a lot of scope to be creative. So during the period, it was I kind of designed an accountancy kind of website in order to be able to deliver the service. So that was us moving away from payslips onto the web, and that win gave the shareholders more confidence to I guess give me more rope to go and be creative. And then and it was fantastic to have very entrepreneurial shareholders that, despite going through the trauma of reinventing the business and a real change in terms of the profitability of the business, that was a clear kind of impact. They wanted to invest. They wanted to get back on top. They wanted to, be the market leader and deliver, customer experience. It was always, this is all about customer experience. And then in 2009, the iPhone started to come out. And I remember kind of going and speaking to Carolyn, the kind of a shareholder at the time. I said, listen, this iPhone thing is going to be massive. Okay, we need to do the iPhone thing for our industry. And what that meant was, the kind of the app type approach where, we've got, you go on, it's not just a website now, it's a portal. I've got my invoicing app. I've got my expenses app. I've got my kind of banking app. And you know what? They were just, let's go and do that. So given funding to go away and reinvent the kind of the technology solution for, kind of our industry.